shot her. She hid it, and he almost got away with it. In July 2020, Megan Thee Stallion walked away from a party with bullet fragments in both of her feet. She did not tell the world what happened right away. And the man who shot her told everyone she cut herself on glass. That lie held for weeks, but the court record told a completely different story. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened that night, what was said under oath, and what a Los Angeles jury decided after hearing all of it. Because the full story is not what most people think they know. The night everything changed. It was July 12th, 2020. Megan Thee Stallion had just left a party at a house in the Hollywood Hills. Kylie Jenner had hosted that night. The group got into an SUV to leave, and somewhere between that driveway and the street, something went wrong. There was an argument in the car. Megan has said it started over something small, the kind of thing that happens between friends, nothing that should have ended the way it did. But it escalated, and when Megan got out of the car, the situation turned into something nobody could take back. Here's what you need to understand about that moment. Megan Thee Stallion was one of the biggest names in music in the summer of 2020. She had just featured on one of the biggest songs of the year. She was at the peak of everything she had worked for. And on the night of July 12th, 2020, she was shot in both feet on the side of a road in Los Angeles. She did not go to the police right away. She did not post about it. She did not tell the world. When officers arrived at the scene that night, Megan told them she had cut her feet on broken glass. That is what went into the initial report. That is what the people around her were told. And for weeks, that was a story. But here's what the court would later confirm. The wounds on Megan Thee Stallion's feet were not from glass. They were from bullets. Fragments were found inside her feet. Surgery was required to remove them. The damage was real. The cover story was not. Tory Lanez, whose real legal name is Daystar Peterson, was in that car. He was the one who fired the shots. And in the weeks after the shooting, right while Megan was recovering, he said nothing publicly that confirmed what had actually happened. Now here is the part that most people do not talk about. Megan did not name Tory Lanez publicly right away. She stayed quiet. And during that silence, people online started questioning her. Some people said she was lying about being shot at all. And some said the glass story made more sense. The pressure on her to stay quiet was real, and she felt all of it. Here's Megan Thee Stallion, but in her own words, telling you exactly what happened that night.
So I get out the car, and it's like everything happens so fast. And all I hear is this man screaming. He said, "Dance, bitch." And he started shooting, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, he shot a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Were you afraid for your life at that time?
I was really scared because I had never been shot at before.
That was not someone performing for a camera. That was someone describing the moment they thought they might die. She said she was afraid to move too fast. She said she did not know if the next step would be her last. That is not a story about a music beat. That is a story about survival. So why did she hide it? Why did she tell police it was glass? The answer to that question is the same reason this case became one of the most debated legal stories in hip-hop history. And that answer starts with what happened next. The charges, the trial, and the text messages. Megan Thee Stallion stayed quiet for weeks. But on August 20th, 2020, she broke that silence. In an Instagram live that millions of people watched in real time, she named Tory Lanez as the person who shot her. She said it directly. She said it clearly. And the internet exploded the moment those words left her mouth. What happened next shocked a lot of people. Instead of the story being settled, the debate got louder. A large section of the internet did not believe her. People said she was lying. People said she was doing it for attention. People who had never been in that car on that night were delivering verdicts on what happened. And Tory Lanez said nothing publicly to confirm or deny what she said. Here's something most people do not know about how this case was built. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office did not just rely on Megan's word. They built a case using physical evidence, witness testimony, and something that most people overlook: text messages. After the shooting, text messages were sent. Those messages were recovered. Those messages were entered into evidence. And when the trial started in December 2022, those messages became some of the most powerful proof the prosecution had. Tory Lanez was charged with 3 felony counts. Count 1, assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Count 2, carrying a loaded and unregistered firearm in a vehicle. Count 3, negligent discharge of a firearm. Each count carried its own potential sentence, and each count required the jury to look at the same question from a different angle. Was Daystar Peterson the person who pulled that trigger on July 12th, 2020? Now here is what the trial actually looked like. Megan Thee Stallion took the stand. She testified under oath. She described the night in detail. She described the argument. She described getting out of the car. She described hearing the shots, and she described looking down and realizing she had been hit. The prosecution played those text messages out loud in that courtroom, and when the jury heard what was in those messages, the case took a turn that Tory Lanez's defense team could not recover from. Tory Lanez did not testify. His legal team made that decision. He sat in that courtroom for the duration of the trial and said nothing on the stand. And after the trial, speaking from inside prison, here is what he said about that decision.
Never been violent towards a woman. I would never hit a woman, let alone shoot a woman.
He said he never hit a woman. He said he would never shoot a woman. But the jury had already heard the evidence. They had already seen the text messages. They had already listened to Megan Thee Stallion describe that night under oath. And on December 23rd, 2022, after hearing all of it, that jury came back with a verdict, guilty, on all 3 counts, every single one. So what happens to a man who was found guilty on 3 felony counts after a case this big? That answer is coming, and it is heavier than most people expected. 17 stabs, no answers. On August 7th, 2023, Daystar Peterson stood inside Los Angeles Superior Court and faced Judge David Herriford. The jury had already spoken in December. Now it was the judge's turn. And what Judge Herriford delivered that morning was not what Tory Lanez or his legal team had hoped for. 10 years, California State Prison, no probation, no suspended sentence. The full weight of all 3 convictions came down in one courtroom on one morning. And the moment that sentence was read, Tory Lanez was handcuffed and taken into custody right there in front of everyone. He did not go home that night. He did not say goodbye to his family in private. He walked out of that courtroom in handcuffs, and he has been inside ever since. Megan Thee Stallion did not attend the sentencing. She could not bring herself to be in the same room as him again. But she sent a written statement. That statement was read aloud in open court by Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney Kathy Opsahl. And here is what it said. Since I was viciously shot by the defendant, I have not experienced a single day of peace. He not only shot me, he made a mockery of my trauma. He tried to position himself as a victim. He lied to anyone that would listen. And he paid people to spread false information about the case. Those words were read out loud in a courtroom on the record forever. Now here is something the headlines missed completely. Tory Lanez's legal team did not stop fighting after the sentencing. They filed an appeal. That appeal argued that new evidence had emerged that was not available during the 2022 trial. Specifically, hundreds of pages of medical records belonging to Megan Thee Stallion that the defense claimed raised questions about the fragments removed from her feet. The appeal was reviewed, and in November 2024, it was denied. The court ruled that the surgeon's testimony during the original trial was more than sufficient to prove that Megan suffered serious bodily injury. The appeal went nowhere, but Tory Lanez is still fighting. As of 2026, his legal team has filed paperwork with California Governor Gavin Newsom, seeking either a full pardon or a commutation of his sentence. A pardon would wipe his criminal record clean and release him from prison. A commutation would reduce his sentence based on time already served. Neither has been granted. He remains inside California Men's Colony, 3 years into a 10-year sentence. Now here's my opinion, and I want you to sit with this. A Los Angeles jury, 12 people who heard every piece of evidence, came back with guilty on all 3 counts. The appeal was denied. The sentence was confirmed. And yet the debate about what really happened that night has never fully stopped. People are still arguing about this case in 2026. That tells you something. Not about guilt or innocence, but about how divided people became over a story that the court already decided. Here's Tory Lanez speaking from inside California Men's Colony, telling you what these years have cost him.
Hopefully, I've done my best to keep my head above water, but mentally, I've gone through trauma that I sometimes even struggle with because I never imagined myself dealing with things that I would have to deal with. I've been stabbed 17 times. I almost lost my life.
He said he has been stabbed 17 times. He said he has almost lost his life. He said he has gone through trauma he never imagined. And he is still inside, still serving, still 3 years away from the earliest possible release date. So here's where this story leaves you. A jury said he did it. A judge gave him 10 years. An appeal court upheld every word of that verdict. And the man inside that prison says he is innocent. Only one of those things can be true. On December 23rd, 2022, a Los Angeles jury found Daystar Peterson guilty on all 3 felony counts connected to the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion on July 12th, 2020. He is currently serving a 10-year sentence inside California Men's Colony with no pardon and no commutation granted as of today. Megan Thee Stallion has said she has not had a single day of peace since that night. And Tory Lanez has said from inside prison that he was wrongfully convicted. The court made its decision. But here's the question I want you to answer in the comments. If you were on that jury and you heard everything they heard, would you have voted the same way?